how it felt to work on this, especially with your history with it.
Well, the idea of working with Jeff again, or, finding out where these characters went after all these years, what happened to them, that's what intrigued me. And when I first read the script, I was just thrilled by it because I had no idea that Alan Bradley would become such a lost soul to me. It was such a great take on these characters, and it seems so absolutely real. I was just thrilled by it, just thrilled. And I think you are going to be.
Yes, for those of you who had to wear the iconic suits, what was that like to get used to?
The iconics.
It was amazing. No, it was amazing.
It was amazing to watch Olivia in the suit. I can vouch for that.
It was totally revolutionary. You know, this has never been done before. We were wearing electroluminescent lamps woven through layers of neoprene and all these other amazing materials, and it was an honor to be able to wear something like that was changing the way that every other department was working on the film. You know, it would change the way the scene was lit, and opening us up to all these kind of interesting possibilities. And it was really beautiful, and we would get really excited every time the suits would turn on, because you look around and just kind of, gosh, this is really amazing. And they made this little sound, which the sound department loved.
And at the beginning, they got this sort of process that they do. Well, first, you got to train immensely for the suit, and they do this thing called cyber scan, where they basically create this suit out of every curve and sort of, every sort of definition of your body, so it's just completely exact and fits like a glove. And then the greatest thing is you go into a dark room and, one of the producers has their kids around, you light it up and they just go, ah. So I think that's the most satisfying bit.
There was a great moment before every take where you'd say, right, sound rolling and camera, and just before they'd say action, they go, and light them up, and action. And so in the scenes that I was in, there were a lot of people in the scenes, and so just before they said action, they go, and light them up, and suddenly the whole room would go, bing! And you'd forget to act for a little bit. Oh, that's so cool.
Jeff Bridges, I mean, the number of characters you've created in your career, all the acting challenges that you have gone through, now suddenly you're in a movie where you're revisiting a character you played 27 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think that might be the furthest amount of time between originating a character and going back to him, and then you've got to act against yourself, a 35-year-old version of yourself.
Yeah.
What was all that like, man?
It was pretty wild, pretty psychedelic. One of the things that always bothered me as an actor when I've had to, be in a movie where you have to play yourself at different ages is that there's usually another actor that has to play that part, as a young man. And now that's no longer the case. You can play yourself at any age, whether it's an old man or an infant, and to be on this groundbreaking movie where that is the birth of that idea is really, been born is a wonderful, exciting thing. And it was a lot of fun. I know they're polishing the movie right up to the very end, so I haven't seen the final, the final effect, but I can't wait to see it. You're going to see some, I'm going to see some today too. Oh.
Well, now, Garrett, you of course played the young Flynn, the son of Flynn, and they were mentioning earlier how they have the light cycle suits actually light up. Yeah. And so you basically did a movie where you're in a skin-tight suit the entire time. They didn't paint that on, that was real, right?
Well, at first they glued it on, but I'd say, it's kind of the wardrobe of a lifetime, where do you go from here? Jeans and a t-shirt would just never be the same anymore.
Talk about Cora and what you think her agenda is.
Cora is an amazing character. It was such an honor to play a really powerful, tough, kick-ass woman in a movie like this. She's mysterious and smart and cool, and she's been a companion of Kevin Flynn's for a long time.
and she's a fearless warrior, and I've always wanted to play a warrior, so I finally got to do that, and we got to learn how to fight, and it was just an incredible honor.
Garrett, did you train for martial arts in the skin-tight uniform, or like how did you have to take that and keep that in mind?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of intensive training that went into this. You know, I think I'd started maybe the first week of January, and we didn't start filming until April 6th or so. And my character had to go through parkour training, you know, leaping over obstacles and that sort of stuff, and motorcycle training, and also intensive physical training, you know, with the 8711 group, and sort of hand-to-hand combat and sort of, you know, all that. It was a tedious process, but you got to do this training to be able to, you know, comply with this suit, and you got to have the strength to sort of, you know, to defy the restrictions that maybe it may offer, but I think we did a pretty good job.
Now, Michael Sheen, you are British, you're adorable, you flew here in a magic teapot, you are sleeping under a magic dandelion leaf somewhere in the city, but you've done other intensive special effects movies where you're in basically fake environments and having to make it seem very real. Was this more or less intense than the others? And also, talk about your character. You and Olivia sort of share maybe a bit of ambiguity in your characters that you don't quite know where they stand, so.
First of all, bejinkies, there's a lot of you here. Wow. And also, I thought everyone was supposed to dress up as a character when they came. So I came as Jeff Bridges, and he shaved his beard off. What's going on? I've got used to living in a sort of slightly false reality because I live in LA now. So that helped with the film. And also, I'd like to correct something. It's actually a 4D film because Jeff Bridges brings an extra dimension of awesomeness to the film. So it's the first 4D film. But yeah, in terms of playing like in sort of the environment, the sort of created fantasy environment, this, without doubt, you know, beats everything else for me. In fact, coming down in the car yesterday, I had the schedule for the whole thing here, and just seeing the TRON logo at the top of it made me go, I'm in TRON! I'm in TRON! Because when I first saw the film, when I was like 11, it had a massive effect on me. So to end up here with these guys is just amazing.
Wow. Let us go, of course, to TRON himself, Mr. Bruce Boxleitner. Just like, I mean, 27 years. How did you feel when the phone rings and like, hey, we're doing TRON Legacy, we need TRON back? Did you like, was your suit in the garage? Did you like go get into it, or like what did you do?
Well, I instantly threw my walker into the corner, and I felt like the old TRON again. I was absolutely thrilled when I did get that phone call. To revisit a character 27 years later is quite amazing. You don't get to do it very often. And to see where they went with Alan and the rest of the characters. So, you know, I've been living in science fiction for a while now, so I know this CGI stuff pretty well, having had a space station for 5 years on television. So I do know the looking at a little piece of tape on a green screen, I know exactly what that is. I've fought many space battles with those things. But this one takes it into a whole new dimension. I think you're all going to be very, very thrilled by it. I am. And I'm the biggest TRON fan there is, so